Ladies and gentlemen, this is Bill Hamilton, country boy from Old Hickory, Tennessee, coming back to you. Ladies and gentlemen, this time my subject matter is 10 steps to becoming a successful business person. 10 steps to becoming a successful business person. Ladies and gentlemen, I can remember in 1979 when my wife and I decided to go into business for ourselves. We didn't have a roadmap. We didn't have anybody else telling us and inspiring us to go into business. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, all these years later, the Lord has blessed this poor boy from Old Hickory, Tennessee. So I'm coming to you today to give you a roadmap to determine and help you become a successful business person. Number one, you must be hungry, in the words of Les Brown. You must be hungry. Ladies and gentlemen, the number one problem, the number one factor keeping too many people in the mundane masses is too many folk are satisfied. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to be like the feeling that I had welled up inside of me. I had decided that I'm not going to stay here in this tobacco field in Gallatin, Tennessee. $3.50 a day. That won't cut it, ladies and gentlemen. The Lord has something bigger and better for me in my life. I was hungry, ladies and gentlemen. I had a burning, yearning inside. And you've got to have that same kind of burning and yearning inside of you. But it just can't be a burning and yearning for inspirational sake. You've got to be willing to work. You've got to be willing to sacrifice. You've got to be hungry, ladies and gentlemen, to learn. One of the most important things you've got to do, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to decide, oh, I'm hungry. I'm going to make a difference. I'm going to make a change. But I'm going to learn, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to work. If you can work Bill Hamilton in the tobacco fields from sun up in the morning to sundown in the evening to can't see in the morning to can't see at night, surely you can work for yourself and become a successful business owner. That's what I said to me, and that's what I'm likewise saying to you. Ladies and gentlemen, there's no harder pathway in America today than being poor, than being in the mundane masses. Put all of that energy that you have welled up inside of you to work, becoming a successful business owner. Number two, education is your passport to sustained wealth. Education is your passport to sustained wealth. I'm glad to bring that to you today, ladies and gentlemen, as an African-American businessman. The African-American community is still the only community in America where there's still an argument about whether education is important. Nobody else argues about the importance of education more so than we do in the African-American. Well, you see, I know all kind of educated fools. Well, I know all kind of poor fools too. Ladies and gentlemen, there should be no argument. Education is your passport to sustained wealth. USA Today just published a survey where they showed the disparity between the hourly wage of everybody else and the hourly wage of African Americans in the United States. Huge disparity. And that primary purpose and reason behind that disparity, ladies and gentlemen, is the gap in education. There can be no argument. Education is your passport to sustained wealth. Commit yourself to it, ladies and gentlemen. Sacrifice for it. Work for it. Do what you need to do to put something in your head. That's what my daddy said to me, ladies and gentlemen, when I was a young boy in elementary school. He said, boy, I want you to remember one thing. Oh, you can play ball. You can run up and down the court, son. You can run up and down the field. You can do all of those things. But the only thing they can't take away from you is what you get in your head. The name of this game, son, is education. So every night, ladies and gentlemen, every evening after school, I came home, I sat at the kitchen table and did my homework. And I didn't go play until after my homework was done. And my mother and my father often would check that homework. And my wife and I raised our children the same way. When they came home, they sat at the kitchen table and did homework, ladies and gentlemen, getting something in your head. All this playing, we can do that afterwards. It's a sin and a crying shame, as my daddy would say. The 25 most popular apps today, the 25 apps generating the highest revenue today, according to a Google search, are games. Every one of them is games. You're not going to get to be a successful business person by playing games as your 25 highest priorities. Number 3, each and every job that you have, commit yourself to excel. Excel at each and every job you have, because it is preparation for ownership. First job was General Motors. My second job was General Electric, a place called Cincinnati, Ohio, Aircraft Engine Group. Third job was Xerox Corporation in Rochester, New York, where I finally culminated by being the operations manager running the largest plant in the world for Xerox Corporation in Rochester, New York. I excelled at every place I went. If you go to General Motors in Anderson, Indiana, and check the files and find out about this country boy by the name of Bill Hamilton, you'll find excel in Anderson, Indiana, at being a supervisor in the plant. Went to work at General Electric in Cincinnati, Ohio, as I said. Go check the records. You'll find that I excelled. I have articles today written by the plant paper. #1 unit in the Evendale plant in General Electric. I excelled there. Left for work before the sun came up and didn't come back home till after the sun had gone down. I excelled there. The same at Xerox Corporation, ladies and gentlemen. I excelled there because I was on a mission. The mission was learning. Everything I did for them, I also did for me. Everything I accomplished for them, I also accomplished for me. My daddy's voice rang in my head. Son, get something in your head. The only thing they can't take away from you is what you get in your head. Excel at each and every job because it's preparation for business ownership. #4, run from shortcuts. Run from shortcuts. Gambling, cheating, illegal activity are just 3 examples, and there are many more. You run from shortcut. Ladies and gentlemen, don't you get hung up in gambling. No, 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 no. One famous casino owner said, he was quoted by saying this: the only way to win at the casino business is to own the casino. These casino owners understand that. The only way to win at gambling, ladies and gentlemen, is to own the gambling enterprise. These state lotteries and these national lotteries that are going on right now. Shucks. I remember when I was a little boy, ladies and gentlemen, it was illegal. It was illegal to do it, to play it, and it was illegal to sell a ticket to it. The only thing then, they didn't call it the state lottery. They called it numbers running. Organized crime owned it. Organized crime made so much money running numbers that the government decided this is a darn good idea. We're going to legalize it and we're going to do it ourselves. When organized crime was running it, 8 out of every $10 that came in, they kept, they retained. 8 out of every $10 they came in was profit. The government is making so much money, the states are making so much money on the lottery, they won't even tell you. The states don't even break out lottery revenue and lottery profits because they don't want you to know. And I'm convinced that 8 out of every $10 still that's coming in is profit. Don't be a fool. Don't be a fool. You're being pimped. Don't take shortcuts. Don't cheat. Don't involve yourselves in illegal activities. There are more than 10 million millionaires in the United States right now. And you can be one of them, and you don't have to take shortcuts. Number 5, my big breakthrough, ladies and gentlemen, was when I read a book. I've talked about it over and over and over again in my presentations to you. It's called The Richest Man in Babylon by George S. Clason. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, when I read that book, how did you become the richest man in Babylon? The question asked all through the book. And then, ladies and gentlemen, on over in the middle of the book, after it takes you through various twists and turns, and I was getting impatient, finally they answered the question, how did he become the richest man in Babylon? And this is what he said. When I discovered that 10% of everything I own will be mine forever, that's what changed my life. Ladies and gentlemen, when I read that book, the light came on. The light came on and I asked the question, suppose you asked the question, suppose you had 10% of everything you'd ever earned. What kind of situation would you have today? Or you'd be in a much better place than you are right now. I realized I would be in a much better place than I was when I read that. That's when I decided 10% of everything I earn will be mine forever. Well, how do you go about doing that, Bill Hamilton? I'm glad you asked that. Leads us 10-10-80. When I overlay on the book, The Richest Man in Babylon, to my upbringing and my God-given understanding of my Creator, I said the first 10% is my tithe. That goes to the Lord. The second 10%, i.e. the richest man in Babylon, I save. That's mine, to be mine forever. And that's what I'm going to use to save and invest and multiply. And I live off the 80%. 10-10-80. And ladies and gentlemen, when you progress, that's the minimum when you progress. You can take that to 15-15-70. Oh, when you progress, you can take it to 20-20-60. When you progress, you can take it to 25-25-50. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. What I love about that formula is what I decide to give to the Lord, that's the same amount I give to me. If I cheat the Lord, I cheat me up in here. Oh, I love that formula, ladies and gentlemen. That's my formula. My wife and I, we live by it. The minimum is 10-10-80. 10% of everything you earn should be yours forever. Number 7, finding the best ways to put my money to work. Finding the best ways to put my money to work. Now that I have cultivated the understanding that 10% of everything I earn, I'm going to save because I want to invest that, I want to multiply that. I realize that that's what's going to propel me to become a millionaire. Not my wages on my job, but my savings that I'm going to invest and multiply. That's what's going to make me a millionaire and allow me to join those 10 million people in America who are already there. Ladies and gentlemen, there are thousands and thousands and thousands of ways to put your money to work. What you got to determine, what are you most interested in? What do you have a passion for? What has the Lord blessed you with? Okay? Has he blessed you with your ability to cook? Has he blessed you with your ability to write? Has he blessed you with your ability to sing? What has he blessed you with your ability to organize? What has he blessed you with your ability to do? Research it, determine it, ladies and gentlemen, and decide that that's what I'm going to choose after much prayer to decide to make my business. One of the businesses that I love most is something called tax delinquent properties. Most folk have never heard of it. Tax delinquent properties. Ladies and gentlemen, people are losing property every day in America because of delinquent taxes. They haven't paid their taxes. I don't have time to go into this right now in great detail, but most cities across America, ladies and gentlemen, they've got to get taxes from somebody. So those folk who are delinquent in paying their taxes, they won't pay their property taxes. What cities and counties do is they say this: if you won't pay your taxes, what we're going to do, we're going to auction off your property to somebody who will pay your taxes. Ladies and gentlemen, that's a phenomenal, phenomenal business. And as I go around this country at tax delinquent property auctions, I see very, very few African Americans. I see a whole lot of African Americans losing their property because they don't pay their taxes, but I don't see a lot of African Americans, ladies and gentlemen, involved in tax delinquent property ownership. That's just one example out of thousands that you can decide to pursue. Number 8, failing is part of the process. Oh, I wish I had somebody willing to tell me that. In 1979, when my wife and I decided to go into business, I remember my first business failure. I thought the world had collapsed. I thought, how could you be such a fool, Bill Hamilton? How could you fail at this first opportunity to own your own business? Something must be wrong. I didn't have anybody telling me then that failure is simply part of the process. Because through failure, as my daddy would say, you are learning even more. You're getting even more in your head. It's part of the process. There aren't any successful mega business owners today that haven't had failure along the way. So don't you be discouraged by failure. They knock you down 5 times, you get up 6. They knock you down 9 times, you get up 10. You just keep getting up. Somebody ought to say something up in here. Number 9, cultivate and accept only a positive environment. Cultivate and accept only a positive environment. Ladies and gentlemen, you've got to be in an uplifting environment. Some people don't even want to go home in the evening, ladies and gentlemen, because the spousal environment at home is just so negative and it pulls them down, ladies and gentlemen. Some people don't want to go to work each and every day because the environment is so negative, it just pulls them down, ladies and gentlemen. That's one of the great advantages in owning your own business. You create your own environment. And if the environment is at home is not like it should be, dadgummit, when you own your own business, when you're generating your own revenue and your own income, you can change where home is. Oh yeah. You're not 100% dependent upon a spouse for that income. You got your own income. Somebody ought to say something up in here. Ladies and gentlemen, business ownership gives you freedom. And number 10, thank God continually for your blessings and be a blessing to somebody else. That's why I'm here in front of this camera lens right now. The Lord has blessed this poor boy from Old Hickory, Tennessee, mightily. And I said to him every step along the way, Lord, 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 I will commit to you that every blessing that you hand to me, I will try my best to multiply and be a blessing to others. That's what this is all about, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bill Hamilton, country boy from Old Hickory, Tennessee. Take it to the bridge, son. Take it to the bridge.